Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the selection of Dan Bongino to be the deputy director at the FBI. Let me cut to the chase of the main lesson here. These kinds of appointments, we have one temporarily at least at DOJ, and you have to watch very carefully now around the country, are disastrous. The number two in charge of particular agencies, here the FBI, same with DOJ, they operationally run the department that they're in day to day. I was U.S. attorney. That's a presidentially appointed position. I could pretty well go my own way, do what I wanted, unless I got a call from the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Not the Attorney General, who's more of, I don't want to say a figurehead, it depends on who the AG is, but sets priorities, does a lot of, is out front publicly, but the deputy is all important. So once Kash Patel gets rammed through, he's a guy with, very little important experience, and he meets with former FBI agents or just a group representing FBI agents, and they exact a promise from him that there's going to be an FBI agent as his number two person. There has never not been an FBI agent in both positions, and the FBI culture is so strong and so important and so much of what the place is about. So having, on top of everything else, two people who are, ignoramuses about FBI culture is just an operational disaster. Anyway, that's the disaster we got, because notwithstanding the promise, the next day or within an hour is Trump announced the appointment of Dan Bongino. Not just not experienced, but a absolute, bloodthirsty hater of the FBI, whom he has called irredeemably corrupt and just trashed. He's a podcast host. I guess he was at Fox for a time and didn't hack it there, and that's who he is. And he is a hater. In a few years back, he said the main thing he's living for is to really, stick it to the libs, and said that in so many words. And he's really just a terribly inappropriate choice in some of the ways that Kash Patel is a terribly inappropriate choice, but the combination of them is just complete kryptonite toxic. And what it's going to mean for the FBI rank and file. They're an interesting agency. Let me put it that way. The FBI, they are dutiful and they have integrity, but they also have a lot of sort of pride, and they don't like to be pushed around. So there could well be revolts on Patel and Bongino's hands, depending on what they try to do with the agency. But the general situation, I am very confident that today there are, murmurs of discontent all through the agency. Did you see who we now get as our deputy? The deputy director, it goes without saying, virtually. I think it's unbroken historical practice. You get a career agent, just like you even more so than with the Department of Justice, where the deputy is supposed to have federal prosecutorial experience. But since the department does a lot of civil things, it's not invariable. For the department, it really is invariable. There's just a whole long list of things that he has said, including, by the way, that Trump should ignore court decisions with which he disagrees, all kinds of trash about libs, George Soros. He is a really marginal out there, not just conservative, but but it holds a whole series of pretty crazy politicized views. That's the person who is now basically running the FBI day to day. So, I've said this before, but we just always have to keep in mind that the losers here are you and me, are the public. This will absolutely be a body blow just to the efficacy of the Bureau and its, ability to prevent terrorism. Let's start there. Their retooled mission after 9/11, but all the public corruption. God knows how things are going to work with public corruption cases and whether they will be politicized. We've seen it happening at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, where the new acting director is sending letters to Democrats for criticism of the administration, launching investigations that seem politically driven. Something like this happens at the FBI, where investigations can begin and where there's, so much harm that they can do with bad investigations, politicized ones, and so much harm that they are in a position to prevent with their normal practice, which may really wither here with Bongino being the deputy. This is a problem, and it's a problem that goes to really the latest kind of level of really terrible staffing within the executive branch by Trump, going for absolute loyalists with no necessary experience, expertise, qualifications, even hostility toward the place that they're going in to run. And at that level, remember who the deputy director of the FBI, this came up in Trump's first administration when he wanted to put in a just crazy, wild-eyed person as deputy director of the FBI, which you don't need confirmation. Who was that person? Kash Patel. And what did conservative Attorney General Bill Barr say? Over my dead body. So we now have Kash Patel running the whole place, and someone who has some of the same problems, deficiencies, just general lack of experience and respect. Such a huge currency within the Bureau as Patel himself has. So bad time now to be either in the Bureau or in the department. Bureau people, even more than DOJ attorneys, think of themselves as careerists, do it for the long run, but there's some huge challenges. And again, this is not a matter of lib versus conservative or Republican versus Democrat. The FBI is pretty strongly conservative and Republican, but what they really are professional. And they now are being led by two folks who are, to say the least, not. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.